In 1840, Lucretia Mott and Elizabeth Cady Stanton are barred from attending the World Anti-Slavery Convention held in London. This prompts them to hold a women's convention in the U.S. In 1848, Seneca Falls, New York is the location for the first women's rights convention. Elizabeth Cady Stanton writes the Declaration of Sentiments, creating the agenda of women's activism for decades to come. In 1849, the first state constitution in California extends property rights to women. In 1850, Worcester, Massachusetts is the site of the first National Women's Rights Convention. An alliance is formed. Frederick Douglass, Paulina Wright Davis, Abby Kelly Foster, William Lloyd Garrison, Lucy Stone, and Sojourner Truth are in attendance. A strong alliance is formed with the abolitionist movement. In 1851, Worcester, Massachusetts is the site of the Second National Women's Rights Convention. Participants included Horace Mann, New York Tribune columnist Elizabeth Oates Smith, and Reverend Harry Ward Beecher, one of the nation's most popular preachers. At a women's rights convention in Akron, Ohio, Sojourner Truth, a former slave, delivers her now memorable speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" In 1852, the issue of women's property rights is presented to the Vermont Senate by Clara Howard Nichols. This is a major issue for the suffragists. Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe is published and quickly becomes a bestseller. In 1853, women delegates Antoinette Brown and Susan B. Anthony are not allowed to speak at the World's Temperance Convention held in New York City. In 1857, the Married Woman's Property Bill passes in the U.S. Congress. Women can now sue, be sued, make contracts, inherit, and bequeath property. In 1861 to 1865, during the Civil War, efforts for the suffrage movement come to a halt. Women put their energies towards the war effort. In 1866, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony formed the American Equal Rights Association, an organization dedicated to the goal of suffrage for all regardless of gender or race. In 1868, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, and Parker Pillsbury published the first edition of The Revolution. This periodical carries the motto, "Men their rights and nothing more, women their rights and nothing less." Caroline Seymour Severance establishes the New England Women's Club. The mother of clubs sparked the club movement, which became popular by the late 19th century. In Vineland, New Jersey, 172 women cast ballots in a separate box during the presidential election. Senator S.C. Pomeroy of Kansas introduces the Federal Women's Suffrage Amendment in Congress. Many early suffrage reporters, including Susan B. Anthony, remained single because in the mid-1800s, married women could not own property in their own rights and could not make legal contracts on their own behalf. The 14th Amendment is ratified. Citizens and voters are defined exclusively as male. In 1870, the 15th Amendment gave black men the right to vote. NWSA refused to work for its ratification, and instead the members advocate for a 16th Amendment that would dictate universal suffrage. Frederick Douglass broke with Stanton and Anthony over the position of NWSA. The Women's Journal is founded and edited by Mary Livermore, Lucy Stone, and Henry Blackwell. In 1872, Susan B. Anthony attempts to vote for Ulysses S. Grant in the presidential election and is arrested and brought to trial in Rochester, New York. 15 other women are arrested for illegally voting. Sojourner Truth appears at a polling booth in Battle Creek, Michigan, demanding a ballot to vote. She is turned away. Abigail Scott Duniway convinces Oregon lawmakers to pass laws granting a married woman's rights, such as starting and operating her own business, controlling the money she earns, and the right to protect her property if her husband leaves. It wasn't until 1920 that women earned full suffrage rights and equality.